Welcome back to GOATIVATION. Today we're assembling the greatest roster in NFL history, the All-GOAT team, with the greatest players to grace the game at every position. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. Now let's get started. For the quarterbacks, it's obvious that Tom Brady is the greatest to ever play the position, with 10 Super Bowl appearances and 7 Super Bowl wins. No one is even close to his greatness. Now for the backup QB, Patrick Mahomes may be a controversial pick because Joe Montana is widely considered the second best quarterback in NFL history. But with 3 Super Bowl wins and 2 regular season MVPs at the age of 28, we're giving it to Mahomes. At the running back position, despite never winning a Super Bowl or even a conference championship game, Barry Sanders is the greatest to ever do it. Sanders was the most elusive player the game has seen and would often leave defenders looking lost. His backup is going to be Adrian Peterson, one of the most violent running backs in history, and the only non-quarterback to win league MVP since 2012. At fullback, we have Larry Csonka, a crucial member of the 1972 Dolphins team that remains the only team in NFL history to have a perfect season. He finished his career with over 8,000 rushing yards and 68 touchdowns. Mike Alstott is the backup fullback with over 5,000 rushing yards, 2,000 receiving yards, and 71 touchdowns in his 11-year career. Despite all those impressive stats, his best attribute was his blocking ability. For our wide receivers, our 2 starters are going to be Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson. Jerry Rice is the GOAT of the position, and despite his 4.7-second 40 time, he was able to finish his 20-year career with over 22,000 receiving yards and 197 touchdowns. Calvin Johnson, the most unguardable receiver in history, had the greatest single season for any wide receiver in 2012 when he averaged 122 yards per game. The backups, Randy Moss and Terrell Owens, are 2 more incredibly great receivers with uncharacteristic speed, agility, and athleticism. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like it. Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski are the 2 greatest tight ends to ever play football. And while we could give the starting job to either one, we're going with Kelce due to his long and successful career. Travis Kelce, with 3 Super Bowl wins, has played some of his best football in the playoffs and has a tight end receiving record of 1,903 yards and 19 touchdowns, which is over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns more than Gronk in the same number of games. At center, we have Travis Frederick as the starter. Frederick made the Pro Bowl 5 times and the All-Pro team 3 times. His most impressive season was 2019 when he allowed only 1 sack and had only 1 penalty against him. The backup is Mike Webster, who was the literal centerpiece of the legendary Steelers dynasty in the mid to late 70s. John Hannah and Gene Upshaw are our 2 starting guards. Hannah, nicknamed Hog, is a legendary New England Patriot who is considered to be one of the best players the organization has ever had. Gene Upshaw played 15 seasons for the Oakland Raiders and started an impressive 207 consecutive games. The backup guards are Larry Allen of the Dallas Cowboys and Bruce Matthews, who is one of the most versatile linemen in history, playing games at both right and left guard and tackle. For the offensive tackles, we have Anthony Munoz and Jonathan Ogden. Munoz is considered to be one of the best linemen in history, and in his 13-year career with the Bengals, he set a team record by making 11 Pro Bowls and 11 All-Pro teams. Ogden played his entire 12-year career with the Baltimore Ravens, and in 2013, he became the first Raven to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. The backups are Joe Thomas and Jim Parker. Thomas played 11 seasons with the Browns during his Hall of Fame career, and Jim Parker played from 1957 to 1967, winning 2 championships with the Baltimore Colts. At defensive tackle, we have Aaron Donald and Warren Sapp. Donald is the best defensive player of his generation and a 10-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro team player, and a 1-time Super Bowl champion. Warren Sapp finished his career with 96.5 sacks with 19 forced fumbles and 4 interceptions. The backups are Bob Lilly and Joe Green. Lilly was nicknamed Mr. Cowboy and played his 14-year career in Dallas. Mean Joe Green had a long and successful career with the Steelers, and he missed only 9 games out of 190 in his 13-year career. Our starting DNs are Michael Strahan and Reggie White. Strahan is a Super Bowl champion who set the NFL single-season sack record at 22.5 in 2001, and he still holds that record to this day. Reggie White is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. a 13-time All-Pro player, and he is second on the all-time sack list. The backups are Bruce Smith and J.J. Watt. Smith had an incredible 19-year career and is the all-time leader in sacks. J.J. Watt was unstoppable during his prime and is tied for the Most Defensive Player of the Year awards at 3. The starting cornerbacks are Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis. Sanders is one of the greatest athletes to ever play in the NFL. He was a lockdown corner and finished his career with 53 interceptions, despite the fact that opposing quarterbacks were terrified to target his side of the field. Revis, aka Revis Island, had the greatest season of any defensive back ever when he held Randy Moss, T.O., Ocho Cinco, Reggie Wayne, and many others to under 35 yards. The backups are Mel Blount and Rod Woodson. Both are Hall of Fame players for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Blount had 57 interceptions and 13 fumble recoveries. Woodson had 71 interceptions, 17 forced fumbles, and 20 sacks. At middle linebacker, we have one of the most feared players in NFL history, Ray Lewis. The Ravens legend finished his career with over 1,500 tackles, 19 forced fumbles, and 31 interceptions. The backup is Luke Kuechly, who played 8 seasons for the Carolina Panthers, where he amassed 12.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, and 18 interceptions. For the outside linebacker, we have the greatest defensive player to ever play the game, Lawrence Taylor. Taylor was a quarterback's nightmare and finished his career with 142 sacks, 33 forced fumbles, and 9 interceptions. His backup is Von Miller, the 2016 Super Bowl MVP and 2012 Defensive Rookie of the Year. Our starting safeties are 2 Hall of Fame hard hitters, Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu. Reed finished his career with 64 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles, and 140 pass deflections. Polamalu had 32 interceptions, 14 forced fumbles, and 107 pass deflections. The backups are Ronnie Lott and Brian Dawkins. Lott played 14 seasons in his Hall of Fame career and had 63 interceptions. Dawkins was another big hitter for the Eagles, and he had an impressive 36 forced fumbles. At kicker, we have Justin Tucker as the starter. Tucker is the most accurate kicker in history at over a 90% make rate, and he has the record for the longest field goal at 66 yards. His backup is Adam Vinatieri, who scored a total of 2,673 points in his 24-year career. Shane Leckler is our starting punter. He played for the Oakland Raiders, where his average punt was 47.6 yards, with his longest being 80 yards. His backup is Ray Guy, another Raiders player, who punted for a career total of 44,493 yards. At long snapper, our starter is Patrick Mainelli. Mainelli is a Chicago Bears legend and played with the team for more seasons than any player in history at 16. The backup David Binn played for the San Diego Chargers for 17 out of his 18 seasons. The starting kick and punt returner is obviously none other than Devin Hester. Hester is the undisputed GOAT of returners and has a record 20 touchdown returns in his career, including the opening kickoff of Super Bowl 41. The backup is Cordarrelle Patterson, who has 7,836 career return yards and 9 touchdown returns. That brings us to the end of the list. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications for more.